Hello there golfers, I'm 5-Star Grog Splash and this is episode 4 of the How to Turbo Golf Racing series, helping you to learn the game in depth. In this episode, we're going to start touching our balls in intimate detail. Last time, we looked at the different ways to improve the car's speed, but we're playing golf, so we want to be able to get to the ball quickly and know what to do with it once we get there. Before we get into individual shot types, I just want to talk for a second about spin. If you're coming to TGR from Rocket League, the ball spin will probably be one of the more difficult things to adjust to. The ball will spin on the opposite direction of the side that you hit it on the left and you'll put right spin and vice versa. You'll get more spin the closer to the edge of the ball that you hit, so when you want to add more gentle curve, you want to hit the ball almost but not quite in the centre. You can eliminate spin completely while learning the game by using the straight shot core, and it's how I learned the game at first, as the shooting feels a lot closer to Rocket League shooting, but you will want to get to a point where you can take this off and start using the spin to take better lines around corners. There are cores that will help you correct mistakes, but there are not many cores that will do anything as helpful for your game than learning to curve shots, so you might just want to start learning that right away. When we talk about basic shots in TGR, you can break it down into 4 basic shot types, some of which have slightly more advanced ways to play them, so let's get started. The first and most fundamental, I just call the ground shot, and is quite simply driving into the ball while your car is driving. You don't need to press anything for this shot, just line up your car with the ball and make sure it's still lined up by the time you get there. This is probably a good time to mention as well that I recommend using the car cam and not ball cam for taking most shots. Your controls affect your car, so having your car in a fixed position on screen makes it easier to accurately aim your shots. There are a lot of players who swear by ball cam only, and that's valid, but I see a lot of players driving circles around their ball who would 100% benefit from a bit of car cam in their lives. Try practicing shots with both and switch between them as you go to see what you think. The ground shot is the easiest type of shot to aim and therefore the safest thing to do in most situations when you're playing your first games. It's also pretty versatile, as the ground shot is one that we can change up with an extra mechanic. You can use your shield tilt to pitch your ground shots. By default, this is bound to the left analog stick up and down, and this will only work while you're on the ground. You can see your current tilt angle in the bottom right of the screen next to your cores. Pushing up on the stick will tilt your shield up. With your shield up, you'll be hitting higher on the ball, adding top spin, and keeping the ball on a lower arc than a standard hit. Pulling down on the stick also tilts your shield up. No, I'm just kidding. It tilts your shield down, making the opposite effect. You'll be hitting way down on the face of the ball, pitching it higher up. Most of the time, tilting up to shoot low would be more useful, as the majority of the time we're trying to get the ball more forward than up, but these high-pitched shots can be useful for chipping the ball up to rings, over obstacles, and for starting air dribbles. The next basic shot type is a jump variant of the ground shot, which I just call a jump shot. As you can probably tell from the name, the only difference here is that we press jump just as we're about to hit the ball, which gives the shot some extra height. Now, as I've just mentioned, we have the shield tilt down available to hit those higher shots, so what would we need a jump shot for? Well, first, you get quite a lot of extra spin off this shot, more than with a ground shot, so you can use it to curve your ball around corners. Second, as we know, we need to be in the air to glide, so if you're looking to cut down the time from hitting the ball and getting your glide started, this is the way. The last is a little more advanced. Remember in the movement video when I mentioned that you have access to a dash while you're power sliding? Don't worry if not, as it was completely useless when talking about movement, but this dash becomes a lot more useful when we look at it for shooting. If you hold down your power slide button just as you're approaching the ball, and then jump into the ball, you'll do a power slide dash and hit a super hard shot that goes a good bit further than any normal hit. I call this a grog smash, and have done ever since I found out how to do this in the second beta to hit this mega shot on ball falls. I'm not going to force you to call it a grog smash. If you want to call it a power slide dash shot, I guess I can't stop you, but I know what I like better. This isn't easy to control, and any inaccuracies in your aim are going to be exaggerated because of the power, but hitting these well in open space can free you up to optimize your speed through movement. So those are the first two shots I mentioned at the beginning. The next two are basically just aerial variations of these by using glide to attack the ball. The glide shot is my name for basically flying into the ball. This is equivalent to the ground hit, however obviously we're not on the ground. The key difference between a glide shot and a ground hit is where the car makes contact with the ball. On the ground, we're always mostly going to be hitting pretty low on the ball, under the centre, meaning that all ground hits are going to send the ball to some height, which isn't always ideal. With a glide shot, our point of attack on the ball is based on the height of the car, so you can decide if you want to hit right on the top part of the ball, or even pinch it with the ground, which can make a super curvy and powerful effect with some spin, or chip the ball forward if you can hit it straight enough. Or you can still get a chipped shot by scooping, but the potential height will be much lower when compared with a ground hit. You can also use glide shots to hit more gentle hits by releasing your accelerator and boost while gliding, which can be really useful for setup shots or for tap-ins near the hole. This should be as much a part of your shooting game as ground hits whenever the context suits. Obviously this is going to line up with times when we're gliding, so you'll find this easiest to practice on a downhill map like Downtown Blitz or curvy corners. See if you can control the ball through all the downhill sections. You'll be going at max speed on the way down, so don't be afraid to apply the brake a little as you approach the ball. This will give you a good feel for how the ball travels based on shots at different speeds. The dash shot is the fourth and last shot we'll be looking at today, and is the main long shot for general play. As you might have worked out by now, this is the aerial version of the jump shot, but since our car's in the air, our jump is a dash. To perform this shot, you'll just need to do the same basic steps we talked about in the movement video, which is to jump, glide, and dash. Except when using this technique to shoot, our main focus isn't so much on the speed of the car, but ensuring that we're at the right angle to take the shot, and we dash just as we're about to arrive at the ball. I would definitely suggest using this more than the grog smash for long shots, as it gets you most of the distance, and because you're arriving through the air, you'll be able to adjust your angle a lot more consistently, since you don't have to worry about the hills throwing off your car's position. Because dash gives us a max speed boost, we can be assured that most dash shots have more or less the same amount of power behind them, which is a lot. You can add a bit of extra power to any shot by boosting at the same time, and as we can see, it's possible to send the ball far down a fairway, giving us lots of time to use our mechanics optimally to catch it up. Using this shot has the additional benefits that we get from the glide shot, in that we're not restricted to only attacking the ball from the very bottom, and you can use it to do even harder pinches. And that is what you need to know about shooting in turbo golf racing. In the next video, I'll be talking about cores, which are the biggest part of the game I haven't really talked about yet, although you've seen some of the things they can do in the clips along the way. Everything we've talked about so far will apply no matter what cores you run, which is the only reason I wanted to wait to do cores, but they are so important. When you combine top movement mechanics, good shot selection and execution with the right cores, that's how world records get made. Until then, let me know if you have any questions, and I'll leave a link in the description to the official Discord. Thanks very much for watching, and see you next time.